Look, it's no secret that mechanologist as a class is a bit underwhelming, and I think the reason that is the case is because the class itself is defined by one keyword, and that is the boost keyword. The thing about mechanologist, and this is of course aided by the fact that mechanologist is a talentless class. It has no access to talents of any sort. It is, not a light mechanologist. You do have a shadow mechanologist technically in the form of Teklevasan after he's become Iron Man, but outside of that, it's a talentless class. It's a class that does have other keywords like galvanize and now crank, which is the next, I think, step forward in the class. But outside of those, the boost mechanic as a mechanologist, class itself is parasitic by nature. It forces you into just using mechanologist class cards. And in order to really effectuate a game plan around the very powerful boost keyword, up till now, you basically just have to build with mechanologist cards. But I think Puffin is going to change all of that. First things first, Puffin Hightail is a mechanologist, and she's also a pirate hero. So of course, that already gives you more leeway to build in a different way. It also encourages you subconsciously to avoid the boost mechanic, because yes, pirate mechanologist cards, if they get boosted, do count as mechanologist mechanologist cards for boosting purposes. But if you're playing pirate cards, those wouldn't. So pirate and mechanologist are going to combine here to allow Puffin to break free from the previous constraints that have so long plagued mechanologists in just focusing on really only the mechanologist boost cards that synergize with that, or the complete opposite play style of just eschewing all of those styles of play for good generic cards and playing hard fatigue. That's kind of where Mech has been stuck, and Puffin's going to break us out because of what she opens up. First of all, if you don't know what she does, she has action tap, because that symbol is tap. It's tap. That's what it is. Destroy a gold you control, and you create a golden cog token. So you transform your gold into a golden wow, that was a word. That was a sentence. A golden cog token. Say that 5 times fast with a stopped-up nose while you're sick. Try it. I dare you. You don't actually have to. The second time you crank each turn, draw a card. So for those that don't know, a golden cog is right here. You get crank on an item. This is also a nice way to take what we've already received from the mechanologist class, that keyword crank, which I think is far more interesting than just boosting. Even though boosting is very thematic, I think it's very on point for what mechanologist has done up to this point. I think crank is even more so. It gives you that same feeling of like assembling all the items on board and then cranking them, doing the things. I think it's great. It is an item with crank, and it just enters with a steam counter, and you can crank it, and in doing so, you gain the action point back. So we have action point manipulation aplenty with Puffin Hightail, and then the second time you crank each turn, you draw the card. So if you can crank multiple cogs, that's great. You draw a card, and you can kind of go a little bit wider. We aren't even going to talk about Polycranka yet, even though, I mean, come on, who doesn't want to talk about that? But this is why I say she's going to enable us to break out of that. She introduces to us the wonderful world of once per turn instant, tap a cog you control, and then choose a mode. This gets +1 or go again. And this, to me, is the most exciting thing so far, of course, that we've gotten out of mechanologist in a long time. Like, I enjoyed playing Dash.io from High Seas, not from High Seas, from Bright Lights. I enjoyed playing Dash.io. I liked the idea of like cranking and putting out items and trying to make boom grenades go off. But I am very intrigued by the idea of this once per turn instant tap, make the +1 or go again, because remember, this is happening at instant speed after you've played the attack. So your opponent has to decide how they want to block, how they want to go. It encourages you to play boom grenades into like a Puffin Hightail list with a card. This card can also splash into anyone else that can create cogs, and it opens the design space up to future cogs that are not the golden cog token. So this really kind of goes wild. This makes my brain go like in all these different design directions where they could possibly be taking this. But I think the mechanologist class benefits so greatly from what Puffin's going to be bringing along with her. in the form of these types of cards. You no longer are pinned down to just playing, all Mechanologist cards for the boost synergy so that you don't miss and then you don't basically just end your turn. Now you have a second way around that with this card style of design with Sky Skimmer. And it doesn't stop there. I mean, we even have like Golden Sky Warden, which hints back, or harkens back, perhaps better term, with the Galvanize keyword to the Bright Lights set, saying when it defends, you can destroy an item. Of course, we are creating lots of items, presumably with the Golden Cog tokens. If you've already cranked it, you take that counter off. It's now going to die on the start of your next turn, so you might as well get rid of it, and then you Galvanize it along with this Golden Sky Warden defending, and then you get +1, and if you do that, you can create a gold token, and you can do it again. So in other words, this card can block for like really, really good numbers, and it can also represent a yellow, which we can presume in this set is going to be important, along with 7 power to the blocking ability that we already have access to. Again, excuse me, I am sick, currently working through the sickness, and my brain is a little bit all over the place. Also, I just want to say, I love the pirate border. The pirate border is very cool. This is the pirate mechanologist border. Just keep in mind the pirate necromancer border has the same like front of the ship maiden, which I think is so cool. And I love the differences in color, because then you look down here. This is probably my favorite one, but I'm a sucker for blue, man. I'm a sucker for blue. And then Palantir Aeronaut is just like such a cool freaking card. This card is so nuts. The defending hero must defend with an equipment they control if able, and then thrice per turn instant, reminding me a little bit of the old school, like, do this thrice on, text on, what the heck was that card? Let me know in a comment below. What was the card from Everfest? Pick a card, any card. That was the one. I beat you to it, chat. I beat you to it. But you thrice per turn instant, you tap a cog you control, and this gets +1, and if you've done it 3 times, you get to blow up a defending card, and that does include the equipment. So we get some equipment explosions along with this. I am very interested to see how this class is going. And I saved the best for last. Look right here. Okay, here's the thing about Polycranka. I'm just gonna say, if there was never a world where I was going to ever win the celebrational, but if I did, the card I wanted to have created in the game was essentially a meep that was a companion that perched on your shoulder and jumped down and ran over and poked your opponent and stole a gold. That was my dream, and we're on the right path. James White, you're on the right path with this one. Companions are where you want to be. Here's the best part about all of this, is that not only are we playing as, like a really cool version of Mechanologist that's going to be able to like open up the design space and the deck building space, and you're not pinned down to just mech cards. Now you get to play with perhaps the most enticing thing that you could possibly have in a trading card game, a strategy game, just about any game in general. And that's a freaking pet. There's going to be so many stories created of the moment that someone just went absolute ultra instinct mode because Puffin died. Because your opponent killed your Puffin. And you're like, that is it. It's not Puffin died. Polycranka, excuse me. Polycranka died. That's going to be the true moment that you tell that story. And that's the best part about what LSS has built. It's like this idea of, creating stories at the table with someone else. And there's going to be many stories told when someone kills the opposing Polycranka and ruse the day that they killed Polycranka. They should have left him up so that the opponent didn't just go absolute ham. But I think this card's really cool because what this does is it allows you to crank, take the counter off, and then action tap it, banish it, return it to the arena under its owner's control, and then you crank again. Now, right now, this is action neutral. If you end up doing this, you have to have like a second action point, which you technically get. Well, you don't technically get it. By cranking here, You're removing the steam counter from it, you gain the action point, it recoups its cost, and then you spend the action point to bring this back. So, like, as it stands, this isn't doing, like, anything, which is the best, which is, like, really exciting to me, because that means that there's something that can be done with this down the way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in my delirium of complete sinus buildup and pressure, as it stands and as I was looking this weekend, this doesn't currently do anything of note, but it does open up the possibilities of being able to like recoup action points at will. And it does have 1 health. And look, if you don't, it just dies, you gotta watch out. If you don't protect it, it's just gonna die, and your opponent's gonna be real happy, and then you're gonna be real sad and maybe very upset, very angry. But this, to me, has probably me the most excited about Mechanologist that I think I've really ever been. Maybe with the small exception of just right at the beginning, the release of Dash.io, when things were kind of like underrated, and she popped off at the Calling in Australia, I think it was. That was probably the last time I was super excited to really dive into Mech. And now, of course, it's a pirate mech, so how could I not? How could I not? So that's how I feel about Puffin Hightail. Let me know how you feel about Puffin, or which other pirate are you more excited to see, talk about, play, engage with. I want to hear that in a comment below as well. And of course, if you enjoy this type of video, make the number go to the other number. And as always, everybody, thanks for watching.